Well, thank you guys for hanging with us for on a Friday. I have a couple things to run through in addition to our giveaways that we're very excited to share with you. So thank you first to all the speakers. We couldn't have done today without you. We thought all the sessions were incredible. These all of the speakers that we had with us, every one of them is an expert in their field, and so it's a privilege that we are able to bring them together. This is, I think one thing that, I think we do really well at MedBio is, we are able to curate a really great, a great group of industry experts because there's so much information across these fields, like depending on which types of clinical information you're talking about, let alone once you get into all the business topics that, no single person is going to be the expert. And so, I think being able to really bring together this curated group of people is really important, and it helps all of you build your businesses. We today you guys heard from Dr. Well talking about revenue structures, building membership programs with Strive, how you layer in body composition, how AI is changing the entire world, frankly. How we're staying on top of all the changes within the GLP-1 market, the peptide markets, and how all of these things like really, really come together. And so today it's like, we have walked you through like all these different kind of pieces, but it's like, how are we tying this together? And so I think hopefully you guys have been using your playbook throughout the day. There was lots of different like questions within there on how you can take a step back and assess your practice, how you're working with patients, what might be like, what is working, what is not working, where you might need to actually pull in an expert, to help, because there's so many different things, to kind of touch on to make a business successful that, it's like you need to bring in these other people. And so, it's like, as you're also taking, thoughts through today, what are your top priorities that you really want, for your business, for your patients, even, for your personal goals, and then how are you then going to create, a system of building this that you can grow with? So hopefully all of you took advantage of the free core membership that we gave to you as part of your ticket. And the way that we've built all these different kind of features at MedBio, it's like we really want to look at, what is your, holistic program. So if you kind of think about it as if you're, treating a patient that's on GLP-1s, it's like you're not going to just give them the drug. You're going to look at, what are their, lifestyle choices? What are their nutrition choices? What are their fitness choices? It's like there's so many different factors that you have to kind of take into consideration to really treat these patients successfully. And the same thing applies to your business. It's like these industries are changing so quickly. It's like with, things like retatrutide on the horizon, it's like, there has to be a centralized place where clinicians are able to go to find all these different resources. What is changing in the peptide market? What's going from class 2 to class 1? Like, and we really want to be that centralized place where you can come and you can find all sorts of different types of information. So specifically with the core membership, we have clinical and business education, which I mentioned. We have a full peptide index and then a library of protocols. We have different templates that are available to download. There's forms, there's SOPs, there's different types of checklists. So things that, we've all used to help run our businesses and that we want to help share with yours. We newly launched some practice operation toolkits, which are really great. I think one example is we created one specifically on different retention and acquisition tactics when you're bringing in new patients. It's like how are you keeping who you have, and how Are you bringing in new ones? Because you need to maintain a balance of both if you're really gonna grow your business. There's clinical and business playbooks. And we have, discounts for conferences and events. CryoCon, we already mentioned. We have exclusive deals on their tickets. We'll also be giving one of those away here shortly. We also have a private practitioner community. So, it's a great place where you can go and, get the latest updates on, what we're doing at MedBio, but you can also, interact with our team of advisors. You can interact with your fellow colleagues. So it's a great place to just connect with others. And then actually the peptide index, it's a searchable, like always current reference guide, because there's so many different peptides. It's, really being able to understand like what all of them do and how they work. So it's a great resource to have. And then, so building on our core membership, I think where the magic really happens is with our premium membership. And this is something where it's like, we really design this for clinics that are really looking to scale and grow, or even, you haven't launched yet and you want to just have an expert in the field that can help you do this. Because like I know from, personal experience running my own business, it's one thing to launch a business. It's another thing to then learn how to do every single piece of your business. And as a small business owner, it's like, there can be lots of different pieces. And so having resources, having people that you can go and actually talk to is incredibly helpful. So the mastermind sessions that I briefly mentioned. So Heather, who's our Chief Longevity Officer, she's going to be leading those from a clinical perspective. I will be leading from a business perspective. So we will have different topics once a month. And these are they're private group sessions specifically just for our premium members. We'll give you dedicated trainings, but you can also come with like, what has been your like problem that you're trying to solve this week, and you need to bounce ideas off of someone. So we want it to be an open dialogue where people can really like come and get great resources. And then specifically for our courses, so this is actually a new feature that we just moved over. We started launching our course program last year. There's one on GLP-1s, and then we have some on HRT. And typically, like courses can be priced at, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each. So included in your premium membership will be all of our courses. So everything that we have on the docket for this year, Heather has another one coming up specifically that we were mentioning on GLP-1s. And that library of courses will continue to grow. So the membership includes any future courses, any past courses, like you will always have these on demand at your disposal. And then within your membership as well, we are going to do 2 of these summits every year. Tickets for these are $200, so it's another $400 in value. So when you really look at like, what all of these different features are worth between the core features, the mastermind sessions, our courses, the summits, it's over $6,000 a year with all this content. And we're running a special promotion today for $9.99 a year. Typically, membership is $19.99, so it's $1,000 off. We're going to run this for 7 days, so until April 24th. And if you want to try it out for a month, you can always do the $99 a month option. I will say, you definitely you get essentially 2 months free if you join for the year with us. And it's a great offering. So if you want to go on ahead and join us, you can scan the QR code to subscribe today. There's more information also in the playbook on this. And we will also send some things out in email. But we would love to have you guys join as part of the MedBio community. We're building this for you and we're in it with you. So, and now we can get to the fun stuff with giveaways. So if you guys give me 1 second, I will pull up our little drawing and we'll pick two winners. So the first one is for a CryoCon ticket. So CryoCon is going to be in Dallas, May 15th through 17th. We were there last year. It's a great event. They also have a very wide range of knowledge, or wide range of like sessions on the like the business, the clinical. They have tons of products. I would say like kind of one of the most fun things about wandering around the floor at CryoCon is being able to try out all the different new products and gadgets and red light beds and cryo chambers and everything else that they have. So the winner today for the CryoCon is Jamie Cole. Congratulations. You can just say in the chat, make sure we'll reach out to you directly, make sure you have, we'll get you the ticket and all the other information. And then the next one for the MedBio Premium membership, that one goes to uh, hold on, Candace Inman. So congratulations. We will also get all the information over to you. All right. So yeah, so thank you again to all of our speakers. We really appreciate you all being here today. All the sponsors as well. It's like every single month, we do a couple of free webinars. We bring in different speakers. So you stay part of the MedBio community, and we'll make sure that you stay connected with us, as well as all these experts in the industry. And with that, thank you guys so much. Today you built your framework. Hopefully, you have some really good learnings from all the different sessions. As part of the MedBio community, we'll continue building with you. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. We really appreciate you being here. We will be sharing out all the presentations, all of the recordings. We will make sure everybody gets all of it next week. And with that, we will see you all later. Thank you.